think we're synchronized. Guess we'll find out. Let's give myself a little bit of room here because I think I'm going to need it. Let's see, what's this? Destroyed iPhone 11. It always concerns me just how much wastage goes into the packaging of these things. Like I do a couple of screens a day and then you're throwing out, what do you got there? Oil-based plastics there, rubber. Cardboard's not so bad. You got like a little magnet there, and that's for every damn screen. It's a bit wasteful. Like I said, it'd be much nicer if they came in some sort of pleated paper bag or something like that rather than all the rest of that. I mean, it looks pretty, but wasteful. Alright, so hopefully we can have a little more success than last night. I mean, the cardboard I can handle because the cardboard at least, it breaks down and we generally are using sustainable forestry now compared to the 1980s and 90s where it was a little bit more excessive on the established forests and tearing them down. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know it's not perfect yet. I know there's still a lot of logging companies that sneak in and take old growth when they shouldn't. But yeah, at least for things like paper and stuff like that, there's a lot of existing established forest for that. I mean, not established, a lot of, what do you call it, farmed growth, as it were. Anyway. Alrighty. Let's see. So anyway, so we've got this stash of books. This is a selection out of an even bigger stash. But the old ones are like the old white Macbooks and things like that, and I just sort of like, it's probably interesting from a collector's perspective, but for me, not really. And I'm just going to go through and see what I've got here. I think I've got a 1398 in amongst all this, but anyway, I'll just sort of throw the lot on the ground gently, and then we'll work our way through the stash. I think we've got a 2915 maybe, so A1286 right down the bottom. But let's start at the top. Okay, so we've got 3115, or we got, I think it might be a 2936. Guess we'll see. Oh no, wait, this is much older. The upright screen connector there implies that it's certainly much older. So old that I don't even know where to look for the board code. This is like a 28 or something series. Seriously, where's my board code? I'm so used to seeing the board codes up here. We've got a bit of liquid damage down the bottom there. Yeah, okay, now this one pretty much straight away is just going to be a donor. I can't see much point in restoring this. It's got an overall sort of oil film look. It's not healthy. But it'd be nice to know what it actually is. What is this? 2.4 gigahertz something. Probably i5. This has been in a coastal sort of area, so the corrosion is fairly normal and everywhere. And it's already a refurb board. K6? What? K6? Did Apple use AMD K6s? Surely they didn't. I don't remember him ever using AMD for CPUs. Oh, here we go. 2879. How did I miss that? 820 2879. But I sort of deem it dead. 820 2879. It's a Core 2 Duo. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, alright. Getting really interesting that they marked it as a K6, because to me a K6 is an AMD CPU. It was an AMD, wasn't it? Oh yeah, using the pencil mod to get the multiplier, yeah. Okay. Let's see. Crikey. DVD unit just smashed into my crotch. Screen looks fairly intact. Can't say I really have much of a chance of testing it though, because I sincerely do not believe this is going to fire up. So that's a marginal donor at best too. So the screen might be okay, but I can't say much for the rest of it. Stuff flying around. I'm just checking something. Alright, so that, sad to say, I'm just going to pretty much pass on all that. The MagSafe, on the other hand, is this is the 2565 MagSafe, so that actually works with the others. And yeah, there's great big corrosion blob there. The problem is that I have so many of these types of boards now, like so many. I'll never use them up. Okay, so we go to the second one now. James, Raj. Okay, this one looks, again, this is another one, similar. It's from 2009. It's at 25 something. Shady Hacker still fix pre-retina machines. Still make up a fair portion of my job queue. You know, particularly things like 1466s and the occasional 1278. But most of the 1278s are the 2012 3115s and maybe a 2936, but that's about it. What's this? This is a 2530. It's not in the worst condition. It may come up if it's, yeah, given a bit of a, what do you call it, ultrasonic bath. Screen, The screen is intact. Actually has some cobwebs on it, funnily enough. I'm just going to plug in a MagSafe and see if it does anything. And unfortunately for me, because I'm running out of space in my workshop, I have to start getting ruthless. So there are times when I would normally say retain a lot of this stuff, but now it's getting to the point where I really just need to just send it down to recycling. Okay, MagSafe does come up on that. We're not getting a fan spin, but I think these ones you have to manually turn on. Yep, fan spin. Bong. So this one seems to be alive. At least to some degree. And we do not have a backlight. So that could be an issue. We don't seem to have a display either. Oh, we'll wait. We're going to wait to see if I can get the blinking folder. Don't have a blinking folder yet. Caplex works. It's alive. Looks like no folder. It's unusual. Yeah, that one's got me stumped. Current's about right too, 1 amp. Damn it, I can't put a chipmunk on while I've got... Okay, so I've got no display and no backlight, but it's probably just no display. The backlight isn't being driven because it can't detect the display. I don't need to use a flashlight because I've got a light in front of me right here, and I can just hold it up and it does the projection through it. So the screen cable looks jacked up, to be honest. In fact, yeah, a bit of corrosion on there. Yeah, once again, this has sort of gone a bit too far. Again, coastal type situation. So yeah, I mean it boots, but there's... You see all this sort of corrosion here, like this audio section. It just gets in too many places and it's worked its way in too deeply. And so you fix up one thing and then next week it's going to be something else. So yeah, that one's probably also going to see the recycling bin. Like I said, it's hard because, you know, theoretically most of these machines you could, if you put the time and effort into it, make something of them, but it's just not realistic. I mean, realistic, anything less than 2015 I shouldn't be touching anymore. Even on the 1466s, you know. If it's not a 165, yeah, probably not a good idea. What is this? You look like... Okay, this is a little more modern. It's either 2936 or 3115. It's a 2936, so this actually maybe not. Okay. It's got corrosion on it, but it's not really yet that I can see. Could get worse. It's more just dust as opposed to deeply embedded corroding stuff. Oh dear God, yeah. That's unusual, that. No, this one might actually be worth trying to boot. Hey, Warren Stamps. Good evening. God damn it. I'm losing my screws here. Interesting that they've taken the battery indicator out. Wonder if they are having troubles with that. It's not uncommon to have these daughter boards short out, and they inhibit the entire machine. Okay, I need a RAM stick. Geez, normally I can't go anywhere in my workshop without tripping over at least half a dozen old MacBook RAM sticks. And now when I actually need to find one, well, you know how it works. Hello, RAM sticks. Fine. Let's get out my box of biggies. Hey, Toastek. So just a couple of RAM sticks, and they're the ones that I opted to keep. I threw away all the 1 gigabyte ones and lower, and I'm getting to the point where I'm going to just start throwing away the 2 gigabyte ones. Hey, McGrams. $22 milliamp. Interesting. Okay, so it's not starting. Oh yeah, there we go. Something happened. Three beeper. Okay, so this has got RAM slot failure most likely, or it doesn't like that particular stick, but more likely it's RAM slot failure. Okay, so that one's responding quickly, but yeah, I think the top slot is a dead slot. Just give it another shot, see if we're wrong. Can't reflow these ones. Yeah, no, that top slot's dead. And given that I have so many of those boards, again, basically no point keeping it. Not even any point having it as donor parts. Trying to find my stick-it notes. It's great. You buy a bunch of post-it stick-it notes and then yeah, not around. Be nice to be able to just label these and say, well, that's no good, and that's no good. Miles, the problem is that the slot that fails, it's a interesting configuration on the board. It's actually like large, very large solder balls. It isn't a pin through. The pin through is only for one of the slots, and that's the one that remains working. But the one that fails is the one that's just great big solder balls. Now, yeah, some people can try reflow it or whatever it is, but it always seems to come back pretty quickly after that. At least we know the display works. So RAM slot failure. Yes, you could put an 8 gig slot stick in it. That is what often does get done. Okay, we're burning through these things. Okay. So this is a 1398. So it's a bit of an oddity amongst the lot. Not exactly expecting to see a 1398 amongst all this. Keith, in all, there was, I think, about a dozen machines, maybe more. But a majority of them were like they were the white, things like white Macbooks, whatever they are. Okay, what have we got? Liquid damage to start with. 3332, aren't you? Oh, 138. All right. Okay, this could be the winner of the day. Chicken dinner type stuff if we're lucky. But yeah, the liquid damage is a bit of a problem. The real value in these is if your screen is okay. And that is actually a pretty decent looking screen. The deck looks like a real drum, but I can get these decks really cheap now. Picked up a couple for about 160 bucks, which is a bargain for these. Now the real win here is that this is a 138. Titanium W. Well, that almost instantly stopped. Okay, there's random trash in the MagSafe port, being a magnetic port. Of course, it just has that magnetic personality, very attractive to all sorts of metalheads. You're gonna make me rage, dude. Gotcha. Green, 270. No fan spin. 270. Not a value I'm accustomed to seeing on these boards. Something's getting hot. Yeah, that's nearly 5 watts of power. Battery's not connected. Let's see what Chipmunk says. Chipmunk says nay. We are not on, so we're going to take this board out. We may have short or liquid damage given that we have got markers triggered off. But I haven't tried taking the coating off some of mine, DJ Craze. I know there's a few of the spares that I have which could certainly do with having the coating taken off, but I haven't tried it myself. What doesn't help is being here in Australia is, of course, we get different products in terms of like the cleaners and whatnot. So there's no guarantee that the active ingredient in our local product will be the same as what's being used in, say, the American product. Rodrigo, no, this is a 138. Yeah, Josh Busher, I think you're right. This is going to be a fun one. Hopefully in a good way, though. Hopefully in a rewarding way. Maybe it's just a case of some bad VRMs. Somehow I doubt that, but don't think we can get that lucky. Nobody gets that lucky. Hey, Royal Glasgow? Or is it Raoul? One of the few MacBooks where I feel like they did these rubber sealing things right, where it folds back. It's not part of the actual um, heatsink assembly directly. Get delicate on these antenna cables because they do so love to come off. It's like when you're trying to date for the first time and you completely botch up everything the moment you say anything. I'm very sensitive to bad handling. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Hey, Catherine. Good evening to you. How are you? By the way, for people who are wondering, I did get in touch with Jim Hook today. He's just been a bit off colour. Hopefully he will be well enough and back with us sometime in the near future. But he is with us, so he's still here, tortured on this planet Earth with us. Alright. Either it's sticky or I'm missing. I forgot about the keyboard backlight. There we go. Something smells a little unpleasant. I'm really hoping the screen on this is okay. It's one model of the screen I do not have. Let's take this off. Hey Pierre. Alright, so we've got some corrosion down here. That's not good. I'm going to heat off this protective barrier and see if there's anything that's gotten in and around the VRMs. Because if we've got shorts around the VRMs, invariably the board is dead. Alright, let's go in with the microscope. Let's have a look at that liquid damage that I spotted. That's not good. No. Let's check those VRMs. It's not too bad. There's some stuff creeping up towards them, but hopefully it should be okay. So it's more dust that's crept up as opposed to actual liquid damage. But it's getting close, like I'm here on the bottom there, it's creeping in. I hate this polyurethane stuff. Polyurethane glue, it's extremely useful, but oh my goodness, it's a train wreck to try and clean it up afterwards or deal with it after the fact. When when it is at the end of its useful life, polyurethane is gnarly stuff. Usually stinks, just difficult to clean up in general. There's been a bit of a liquid wash come in there. Sorry, just turn the board around. Bit of corrosion there. Sorry, I know I'm moving a bit quick for most people, I'm sorry. I even get grumpy at myself later because if I'm ever searching back on a video to see if I can spot something that I might have missed or if I want to verify something with a customer, then I come back to the video and have a look at the board. And most of the time I miss the part that I was looking for, or I go over it too quickly, things like that. So I'm forever yelling at myself in the future. Alright, let's have a look and see what that part is doing. I have a horrible feeling this is actually CPU VRM related. Pardon me. U7200. Yep. CPU regulator. So chances are this is going to be a dead CPU. But we'll clean it up, have some misplaced faith, and hope for the best. Let's see, what is this? Okay, so that shorted with... Okay, so those little sections there that got corroded, not too bad. It would have just gone to ground. But this is where the real problem is. There was a there was a connection with HS computing. And we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot. Or should I measure the... I'll measure the resistance of the CPU first. That's not a good sign. That's pretty much a hard short. It could mean one of the regulators is pulling it down. I say we get the gym cam out and see what's getting warm, because quite frankly this is probably just going to be another damn dead end. If we're lucky, maybe the low side has gone to ground. If we want to be realistic, it's probably one of the high sides. So it's just become shorted. I can't believe it. Can't get a win here when it comes to CPUs. If we're lucky, it might be main cap, but we'll find out. 270. Alright, so yeah, that V-reg there is toasty hot, along with what? This. We've got a hot cap there. It's not a hot cap. That is just more a case of that's where that VRM is. Alright. Alright, so this is what's getting hot. And like I said, it could be just a bad one, but even if it is just a bad one, the trouble is that the damage is likely already done. So we can replace that chip, that's not the issue. The issue is that did it let through a whole lot of voltage to the CPU? And the answer is most likely. So we'll replace it, and then we'll fix up the ISL on the other side. But don't get your hopes up. There's been a few previous videos where we've had pretty much the same thing happen. And so far, it's always been dead CPU. They're miles in the denial phase, but it allows the video to go on for a bit longer. And sometimes people just love to have that little bit of hope. Maybe 1 out of every 10 you get lucky, but not exactly great odds. Which is a real shame, because I really would like to have a 138 board as a reference. I swear the heater element on my Quick is getting a bit soft. I mean, it is difficult to replace those chips, but I still think that the heater element's getting a little bit wishy-washy. Jeez, I've taken it off so many of these boards. Just going to take this one here. Generally not a good idea to transplant these chips between boards, but because we're just in the process of testing, it's not like it's going to make things worse. See Joseph King's making a funny, that's quite punny. I'll just order another Quick and keep this one on standby if I need to. There's almost no point me repairing this one, really. I mean, I need backup equipment in most cases anyway. Microscope, not so much, but certainly things like multimeters, hot air, soldering irons, things like that. Should always have a backup. God damn it. Pick it up, Paul. It's going to preheat the board a little bit. I kind of let it get a bit cold. If I don't preheat the board, it makes it a fair bit more difficult to get this down quickly enough. And naturally it's gone and stuck at an off angle. For some reason I'm burning my fingers and I don't know why. Yeah, I saw that too. Well, I think we can all happily say that is a disaster. Wow. Let's try that again. If it wasn't ruined before, it is now. What I don't get is, notice how all the solder is balling up on the outside? It's not actually going down onto the pads. It's almost like the board is too cold, but that's a little weird. We're going to leave those bridges there, just for good humour. Honestly, I feel like I'm soldering for the first time. Well, there goes that cap. And those ones. God damn it. Train wreck much? Jesus. I don't know what's going on there. That really is so bad. I'm going to have to pull that all up. It is that bad that I need to pull that up. I'm going to have to re-tin those pads with leaded, whereas see, normally we just leave it as the unleaded solder, because normally you can just sort of grab these chips, put down the just pick it up, put it down, and not bother with the resoldering of the pads with leaded solder, because it normally just works. But today is not the day for it to just work, and my god, I'm burning my fingertips for some reason. I mean, the pads don't actually look that bad. That's what gets me. They don't look that bad. And they're not directly connecting to the central... Ah, shoot. And it seems like I've got a bad case of the shakes today. The uncos. Clearly we're going to have to absorb quite a bit of that. Oh well, can't have every day perfect. We'll just keep plodding along until we get it right. We'll probably trigger a few people, but that's okay. Triggering's good for the health. Yeah, I may be a little dehydrated, to be honest. Let's pick up some flux. That's pretty good. Some days you're sort of immune to the heat. Other days you feel it like you're freshly out of hibernation from some frozen wasteland and you've been exposed to the midsummer Australian desert. It's going to take a while for that centre pad to come in good and warm up. It should grip soon now. Yeah, that board's pretty damn hot. There's still... Okay. Oh, now we've got to put some caps back. After I butchered those ones. See if I even have a 138. I can't remember if I do. 32, 3662. Nope. .426 probably is my closest. No, except the 426 has the extra GPU, whereas this is the Intel only one. Oh, blimey hell. Alright, we're gonna have to just simply find appropriate values elsewhere on a board and take those values and put them in place. It just needs a new heater element. It's getting on in the years. Okay, so what did I knock out? I'm pretty sure these two here. Resistors. I want caps, man. Caps! Greg. Okay, so what do I want? 1 microfarad, 16 volt, 402. 1 microfarad, 25 volt. What's its purpose? It's just a general decoupling, so I could probably get away with that. I'll see if I have actually got 1 microfarad, 16 volt. Just in case. The universe says nay, so we'll go 25 volt. What's 7311? Alright, that one's a little more important. That's the charge boost cap for the gate drive. Yep, definitely one of those days where I'm not really on my game. Let's see, 220 nanofarad, 16 volts. Somehow I don't think it's not really a value I would have lying around. So I'll have to donor board it. Yeah, I have to donor board that one. That's not a problem. What was the other one that we knocked off? So this one here, I'll go back on. There was 3 that I knocked off. So 1, 2. Was it this one? Or was that one? Pretty sure it was this one. That looks like a factory. Pretty sure it was that one there. That's a 1 microfarad, 60. Oh, great. So we could use what we just had. I'm just going to check 7316, and yeah, that's a no stuff. So it's this one here, which is another one. Same as what we've just put on. Yeah, I should get some more. What do you mean coffee is not a hydrating drink? It's wet. It should rehydrate me. Obviously, I'm not that stupid. I realise that the caffeine, being a diuretic, drives your system to dehydrate itself, in effect. Alright, we need that 0.22 16 volt 402. Hey, any 555. Okay, we got him on the 165, that's all I need. I'll take the 165 as a belief and load the hold. It's probably also, yep, it's a phase booster for the gate drive. I do love the 165 3437 boards. They've got so many useful parts on them that's so easy to access. Okay, so what are we looking for? Rightio, that's that little chappy centre of screen. You know, if I walk out that door, then Milo's probably going to be out there. Alright, I'll go get a drink and I'll be back. Alright, so we've got to fix up that ISL now. I don't have, once again, I don't have the greatest of hopes of this thing surviving or even doing anything remotely like a proper computer, but yeah. Fairly sure it's a case of damage is done. I don't think I really even need to replace those parts that had a bit of gunk on them. I'll just replace the ISL. This is not the normal ISL that you usually, but this is the 9582. So it's different. And else we put flux there, Paul. Flux, 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 flux. Thank you. Ah. Yep, sometimes you just gotta go all out. Hello, Steve K. You've been slightly, sarcastic slightly maybe, eh? Okay, there's a replacement. I've definitely got to get into doing more edited videos. My stream numbers and my subscription rates are just falling off the face of the earth. It's just YouTube's way of punishing me for being a lazy bastard and only doing live streams. YouTube's like, thou shalt not have boring live streams and nothing else. It's sad that my most popular video for the last 6 months has been a 2.5 minute video about how to clean the junk out of your earpiece mesh so that you can hear again on your iPhone or whatever phone. That video, since it was released, has made me about $400. It's ridiculous. A stupid little 2-minute video has made me $400. Yeah, Josh, you're right. Using up their bandwidth and it's not even interesting. People are like, why can't you be more like Markiplier? Be interesting, rage a little. Make people laugh. Yeah, it's interesting, JCT, that you'd prefer it after, even after the fact. I always find live streams a little bit disjoint watching after the fact. Yeah, there's what feels like unnatural pauses. Okie dokie, I'll give the ISL another reflow since I took away all the excess solder blobs. Kind of didn't feel like enough solder blobs came out, in all honesty, given the amount of solder I left on that center pad. So I'm a little bit concerned. Just got to squeeze it out like Dr. Pimple Popper. Clean it up and go at it again. Well, you are correct, Greg, as in, that these videos do certainly present a more realistic perspective of what's going on. Unfortunately, people generally don't like having that kind of realism thrown in their face. I suppose I should cool the board off actually a little bit. Hopefully that's cool enough. I was lucky it didn't drag that out of the socket. Alrighty. See if we get a flashbang out of this one. Oh, we've got power up. Only 100 milliamps though. It's pretty sad looking. I mean, we've got SO state, but if we're not getting much further, something's holding it down. Let's see. Let's go into voltage mode, see if the CPU is registering any voltage of meaningful quantity. Interesting though that we are getting SO. No CPU voltage at all. Oh, very sad. Let's see, what's our PP bus? So we've got proper SMC, PP bus, but yeah, we have no CPU activity. Now it's possible that maybe that ISL is wrong. but it's more like, well, we'll check the resistance in the CPU line. If the resistance is back up to something other than nearly 0, we might have a chance, but most likely it is not. Let's see, we're in resistance mode. Yes, we are. And unfortunately, we are still dead shorted. So that basically means that the CPU has indeed grown some wings and flown off to Steve Jobs land. This is, unfortunately, a dead CPU. That is really frustrating. Very, very frustrating. As we expected it would be. God damn it. Okay. Everything's dead so far. My goodness. So this interesting haul is turning into a haul of trash. And I'm the one holding it. Now the only faint bit of hope I have with this particular 1398 is that if the screen is good, then that will actually be worth pretty much everything. Let's see. I wonder if the screen will work if... I'm not sure if the 4924 can drive the screen for this model, but I'm going to try it. See, I need a 4924 that I can use. I've got a good number of 4924s, but I actually don't know which ones are working or not. Don't you dare fall into the abyss. Well, we've got a few here, so we'll try them. Some people are probably wondering, why the hell am I connecting a 4924 to this? It's because, as far as I know, they're compatible on the screens. Still a major pain in the backside. Well, I got a bug on the screen, no more. And the main board just shut down on me. And now it's back again. I don't like that doing that. Yeah, Catherine, it'll be, the same old story. Donor parts, at least a 138 actually, there are some useful donors bits on that. This being a retina board, I can't tell if I'm going to have backlight or not. I've got nothing coming up. Yes, I'm pretty sure the 4924 should work with this. I could be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time now, would it? This is when I need Pianov to come along and kick me in the delicates and say, nope, that's completely wrong, Paul. there's not much point in me putting a boot stick in there because it will come up with a blinking folder at the same time that it would have otherwise come up with the uh, boot logo if it found a stick. It's strange, it did the same behaviour, it just sort of shut itself down and came back. So it's a big fat no. What other boards have I got? I mean, I could try something like a 3457 or something like that, but it's a little. I would not think them to be the same era. We'll try it anyway. The screen could be bad, but I don't know. Dead CPU says to me that it's not likely to have destroyed the screen. Stop moving the computer around so violently? What? What does that got to... You're telling me what to do? I get the feeling this one's actually missing its damn BIOS chip amongst a million other things. I don't think this is even actually a valid board. I think this is a donor board. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a donor board. I'm pretty sure we've got a missing BIOS there and a missing controller. Yeah, I don't think that one's a valid one. That's my bad. I think they're all donors. It's almost like I need to Google. What screens can be used to test HSR? What's this? Hobbytech is asking for good tweezer recommendations. Tweezers is one of those things where you got to just buy a whole bunch of them and see which ones you like. It's as simple as that, unfortunately. Check that. I was just looking at something else. Miles, you might have to retry that link. Oh. You can use any 2015-12 Pro to detect retina boards. Yes, that's the weird thing. It's like it doesn't seem to be working that way. I'll try this board here, which I know is a working board because it's my own board. I don't know if the screen's going to work. I don't know whether this extension lead I'm using is going to work or not. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. They're a little more fickle than the 1466 ones because obviously there's a much higher clock rate on them for the retina. Okay, we're booting on this side, or at least getting started. Well, I'll plug in my MacBook boot stick then and see if that helps it pop up. Okay, MacBook boot stick. Yeah, I've had trouble with the extension cable before. If it has any bits of flux or anything like that, and it does tend to misbehave. But I did clean the ends, so I was kind of expecting a success somewhere. So you can't see what I'm doing down here, but needs to say I am trying to get it to boot or something. Option key. So okay, so there's our bong. To be fair, like I said, this is a 30. It's an earlier generation 1502 board. It's not a 4924. And it would appear either the extension lead doesn't work or the screen doesn't want to play. So put that one aside. It's sad that I actually don't even bother using my retina anymore, my 1502. I just sort of now use a 1466. My eyeballs are too messed up anyway to be able to tell the difference between a 1466 screen and a retina screen. It's kind of sad, but it's true. What bothers me here is that it's holding at 400 milliamp. Yeah, 420. Oh wait, there we go. 600. I've got one more computer out the back that maybe might be able to help clear this uncertainty. Hey Memo, sorry buddy, you can't come in, I'm sorry. Hey buddy, what you doing? What? Alright, so nothing's showing. Okay, so I've got this one machine here which I know definitely does boot, and it is a 2015. Oh, so much for that screw. That's really bad when you have these scenarios where your stack of machines with potential come in and one by one they just become duds, is that it just absolutely sucks the enthusiasm you have afterwards to clean up. And so you end up with this great big fat mess of machines sitting around in pieces that you never put back together, because your heart has been broken into equally many pieces over the failure of everything. Okay, screen works. Well, okay, hallelujah. Screen works, cable works. Thank God for the working 2015 test machine. Which makes me wonder, should we test... I've got another machine that actually was a 138 failure, and I have another 138. I've actually ordered a 138 board. It's kind of ridiculous, but I did it. Waiting on replacement main board. Okay, and I want to check that its screen is okay, and I'm pretty sure this is a 138 as well. And so I want to make sure that damn it, I want to make sure that its screen works. So we know that screen works. Thank goodness for that. So we actually did get a win there, and it looks like it's a fairly clean screen at that too. And yes, it is a 138. Funnily enough, this had exactly the same failure. Same failure. That VRM took a hit, something went wrong, and CPU back to zero. And then after I ordered the main board, I realized I had no actual confirmation that the screen was any good. So as you can imagine, the customer is not going to be happy, or rather I won't be happy, if the new main board comes in, and believe me, they're not that cheap, only to find that the main board's that the screen is no good. Ain't nobody's going to pony up for a new screen on the 1398 these days. It just isn't something that happens. They're just too expensive. Alright, so here we go again. This one. No, I didn't order a board with a paleo. The board I've ordered is a working board, or at least it should be. Okay, thank God that screen works. Okay, so at least I don't have to worry about that. Whew. Bit of a panic there. At least that's tested and confirmed. So this machine, which was actually contributed to me by Joel Sanders, has proved its value by being a tester for me. So thank you very much, Joel Sanders. Well, the only other machine we've got left now is a my backside in the camera view. No, a 1286, I believe. Okay, so this is Donal. Me. Dead CPU. What are you? I'm a you. Be a laugh if this ends up being a fully functioning machine. Okay, so clearly something's wrong with my 4924 boards, which means I need to fix those. So maybe there is something to do after all. Hang on, what are you doing? Because otherwise they should have worked. But they didn't. Donor. What? Take a center punch to the dark. Oh, right, yeah. To absolutely 100% make sure it is dead. Hey, Shad. Looks like Shad's been watching Lewis Rossman videos, where Lewis calls me Paul Effin Daniels. Thank you, Shad, for the 10. It is actually greatly appreciated. Although I did have a win with that screen being good. That is actually a very big win. And yeah, look, you know, this is a 2915, so we all know what's wrong with this. But the point is there really any point in repairing it? You know, because you do have to, you know, I'll use the GPU bypass chip. This R is missing and no V. Okay, so it's got a keyboard issue as well. So this is, yeah, Bugger. And I've got so many of these, it's not even worth it for donor parts. Really, I could be cruel and just put it on eBay. But then eBay is probably going to scam me. I'm going to get someone who's like, oh yeah, I know that it's broken, I know how to fix it. They'll buy it from me and then they'll lodge a complaint with eBay saying it's a faulty mainboard or something like that, and they will get their money back. I don't know, I suppose I can keep... Yeah, so what do you do with these machines, yeah? I was kind of hoping it would be like either a 2850, I can, repair those, they're perfectly good. Or if we were really lucky, a 3330, but nah, no. Oh, well, maybe we should look at seeing what's wrong with that 4924, shall we? Yeah, this one here. Since we were expecting this to work and it didn't. So maybe we do have a machine to work on even though it's 1:15 in the morning. But hey, since when have I ever been a sensible person? Clearly, I'm not the greatest example of being sensible, given that it's taken me till I'm almost 50 years old to get a house. It's too interested in romance and things like that. Getting me a partner for life, my soulmate, and having kitty cats. House be damned. Worry about that later. Okay. Did you have a second look at the 1598 from 1598? Do you mean the 1534? You talking about the 12-inch MacBook? The one that we just had a bad USB-C connection on? I haven't had a chance to actually do the data recovery on that one yet. I don't like to do the data recoveries on live stream because you don't know what's going to come up. Could be used for beginners how to repair. Maybe, but the trouble is the 2915 is already, it's a known fix, so it doesn't, it's not really how to repair. For me, a how to repair board would be like a 165 or a 3437 with a blown backlight. And it could either be a bad trace or there's a multiple options of what it could be a bad backlight. That's a sort of repair board I would consider. But at 2915, it's just going to be a case of put the MUX, what do you call it, the iGPU MUX bypass on it, and you're done. Well, we're very lucky with the 1534 though. It turned out to be that just the power input connection. Mind you, I am still just doing a data recovery only because, as I explained in the video, those machines are going to die one way or another sooner or later. And because that was one of the single piece flexes, the replacement cost of that flex is just stupid expensive. I don't know why they are so expensive, but regardless of why, they are expensive. So you're not going to charge your customer 200 plus for a fix that will then be trumped by a failing CPU or a failing SSD just a week or two later at best. So it's best to take the chance for an early honourable death and get on with a new machine. Hey Gregory W. No, I do work on other machines, but I just don't get them very often, and most of the time when it comes to other machines, unfortunately, very quickly they become non-repairable. About the only way that other machines are generally repairable is if they are sporting a explicit shorted cap or something like that, something blatantly obvious. Because once it gets outside of that realm, you really don't generally have good board views and schematics for them, so it's just a big fat time waste. Okay, here's the 4924 I was after. Okay, so this one I was expecting to work, but it didn't. Clearly I've got some rework on there already on the back. The question is, was I lazy and failed to mark this as being a donor only board, or did I think it was fixed but couldn't prove it? It might have been a case of, because I didn't have a 2915 test screen, I wasn't able to 100% verify. So I got it to the fan spin state, but then beyond that I couldn't do any better. I suspect that's what it was. I got to the fan spin state and went, well, that's as far as I can take it. I suppose I could have plugged it into an external display, but ain't nobody do that. Yeah, Gregory, I'm not sure, but regardless, of course, it's still going to die pretty soon. And I just don't want to, give people that false hope. I got a cough. Yeah, this has got that weird thing where it runs for 400 milliamp, drops down to 0, and then comes back up to 400. I don't exactly know what it's trying to do. There's no bong. Yeah, it does a little bit of a run for 600 milliamp and then it dies again. As far as I know, we've got no beeping. We have 800, nothing. Just see if it doesn't have display output. Just get my external display. I'll just plug it into HDMI, see if we get a display output. So maybe I got a backlight issue or something like that. Where is that screen? Oh, there it is. Oh, this room so badly needs a good overhaul cleanup. To be fair, I did actually go to the dump today and yesterday. I dropped off 2 truckloads, well, dual cab loads of trash out of the house. So, I'm getting there, It's just amazing how much time it does take to clear out 20 odd years worth of, 20 odd years worth of crap. Okay, let's go. Let's see what happens. Yeah, but Miles, the trouble is I'm getting to the point where everything is just packed in around me and it's, going to fall down any second sort of thing. Do you find that on the newer laptops that the components are not the same quality as the old laptops? No, I'm actually finding that they seem to be okay myself. I mean, they're not as big and chunky, but I haven't really found any quality drop-offs yet. I mean, yeah, maybe I just haven't looked at them enough. CPU's definitely got warmth in it. Got no signal. I'll just disconnect the display and see if it automatically goes to the bypass. No, the display connector's pretty good. Reset NVRAM. Not exactly the easiest thing to do in this configuration. Okay, there it just popped up to 1 amp, so it's trying to do something. Yeah, I mean, things are those glass chips are a real pain. I agree on that. So I don't know what's chewing up 940 milliamp. Maybe we can get Gymcam out. Hello, Gymcam. It's funny, it's Gymcam and it's Gym Screen. This is going to become a gym workbench soon if I'm not careful. It's interesting, the current is actually increasing bit by bit as things are heating up. It looks like it's CPU that's getting warm more than anything else. Yeah, it's just the CPU getting warm. But it doesn't seem to be doing anything. So it's either stuck in a reset state or something, I'm not sure. And it's just slowly increasing that amount of heat. Now you can see where all the backlights are on that. Yeah, it could indeed be another dead CPU. Hey Preda, good evening to you. 4.5. That's not unusual for. Okay, come on. 4.8, 4.5. Okay, let's check the one that is a working board. Now, it's obviously not going to have exactly the same, or chances of it being exactly the same CPU are fairly minimal, but we'll still see. But that, 4.5, 5 is not out of the ordinary. Okay, but this one's 15, so maybe it is the case. Okay, so 15 for this one, and this is a 2.7, 8 gig. What's this one? 2.9. So given that this is a higher spec, being 5 isn't exactly unusual. I'm not completely ruling out it being a dead CPU, but this is where it is a little bit hard to ascertain one way or another what's actually going on. Mind you, 4924, do I have a lot of open board data on that? That's very sad. I seem to only have 4 data points for open board data on the 4924. I think it's very sad. Let's see, board preferences. Okay, that's more like it, 166. It's not a lot of data points for what is a popular board. Well, mind you, it's sort of covering the essentials, like backlight output, most of your controllers, things like U7100, the important things are there. What general type of incident have you found results in the most short base faults? Given that I don't know what the boards have been up to prior to them arriving, it is actually difficult for me to make that evaluation, but certainly liquid damage is a prominent cause. Mind you, not the only cause. Being dropped, things like that. Bad, what do you call it? Bad power supplies can do it occasionally. Could you combine wiki and board data? Possibly, Catherine. I think what will be easier to do is if I sort of integrate guides, or I create the guides from wikis, the sequence guides, so you can go through and just diagnose things like why PM sleep S4L might be missing and such. Okay, so what are all you guys? Okay, you're keyboard test pads. Let's get our little capture tool extracted from the massive mess here. Capture tool is active. Take the solid state out. What size is that? Oh, it's 256. Yeah, okay. So we're doing diode mode measurements. We'll use the chipmunk to hold on to that for me. Kind of helps if I enable the meter. And set it to diode mode. Ah, that's a trick. It's actually that one. What's going on here? Oh no, I found a bug in my code. Where you go? Looks like it's a focus bug. Yeah, that's all those done. I shouldn't be getting picky about the data I'm selecting, but sometimes you do. You just sort of like, you know, I don't want to manually punch in a lot of this stuff. Okay. Make sure I get the right one. Except I've actually got it upside down. How long have you had your cats? Basically I have had cats since, yeah, well over 10 years ago now. I'm gonna have to rotate this because, damn it, I pressed the wrong key. Okay. But yeah, it's well over 10 years. And to make things more fun, this is actually an odds and evens configuration with connectors, because your pins go 1, 2, 3, 4 back and forth like that. It's a pain to jump back and forth, so instead you can just run it at odds and evens input, and it just makes it a little bit quicker. Obviously that's ground. Skip. Sounds like a game of Uno. Skip. Yeah, it's interesting. That doesn't match what I'm expecting there. The reason why I'm pausing here is, see, hopefully you can see it in the view. I've got a pair of lines here, and let's see, 178, and the other's also 78. So it's some sort of matched pair. Did I have a brain fart here? Just trying to go by this. We've got match pair, so ground pair, double ground pair. So pair, double ground pair, ground pair, and then another double ground, and then we should have a double. Yeah, so this here is not correct. These, wait, yeah, you're right, I'm upside down. God damn. Yep. Upside down. You're an idiot, Paul. That's how it should be. No, that's not even... What is going on here? What? This is... Oh, I know what's happened. You know when I said I pressed the wrong key when I was rotating? I hit the mirror key. Okay, now it is correct. So there. Yeah, I hit the letter M and that mirrors the board. You don't actually use that feature very often. It's only occasionally you get some board views that have their data backwards. So basically I just train wrecked that. It's not the camera that was flipped. It was the board view. Well, that was entirely an entertaining waste of entertainment. Alright, back to it. Yeah, what a waste. Oh well, start again. At least because it was mismatched, I was like, I was keeping an eye on it, and then I was like, hey, that ain't right. Hey, Gavin Brown. Oh well, it's been one of those decades, I think. Oh, whoops. Right. These are actually the most frustrating connectors to probe. Okay, so why is that ground? No, I know. I think maybe I'd be better off not doing any data acquisition at this point. Jesus. I mean, yeah. Okay. So now this is why a good idea to watch what you're doing and compare it to what you think it should be. Things like data pairs should have the same values and things like that. I was just verifying that that indeed did end up being as expected. Damn it. Capture that data. Alright, let's try. So you can't even do this because there's the insulating bottom most times. Let's see. We'll try our luck. Just push it up a little more like that. That's it. That's finally done. So we're up to 222 points of data. I think I'm a bit tired now to add too much more, but that there is the connector that we just did. So it didn't take too long, no paper writing down things or having to verbally make note of things. It's just set it up, start clicking away. Alright, Andy Miller, yeah, tonight's been a bit of a train wreck. The only good thing we've had out of tonight is the fact that we do have a 39 A1398 screen for 2015 type boards that works, which is a very nice, precious little thing to have. And we know we've got a working 4924 board, which I have to do more data capturing on. But I suspect we've got dead CPUs here and there. And you know what? These are probably also dead CPU, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Alright, I need some Netflix. Actually, not Netflix, I'm going to go Disney because I'm watching Criminal Minds at the moment. It's rather scripted and structured and all that, but it's better than some of the other trash. But and it's interesting to see the people from, I don't know, how old is that show? It's going to be like 10 years at least. So anyway, I am going. Thank you all for watching. Sorry it wasn't really a great night. Tomorrow I'm going to have to clear out most of that stuff that we were working on tonight. There's just no real point me holding on to it. So unfortunately there's no one locally here who would like to take on that stuff, maybe just to fiddle around with it or whatever. So a lot of it will end up just simply going back to e-waste, scrapping. Like I said, it's unfortunate, but we have to be realistic about a lot of those older machines now. And sadly, that 138 with no CPU functionality, that was a sad loss, but yeah, we got the screen. So okay, I'm out of here. You all take care, and thank you very much once again. I'll see you maybe tomorrow. Until then, catch you later.